Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, John Fury done that interview with BT Sports and he spoke about the situation between Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Now AJ has since commented on that in some way I guess on his Snapchat story by putting he'd be willing to sit down and have a Guinness with John Fury, and he said that there are some clever statements or accurate statements in there if you look hard enough. Now, what John Fury was talking about was how Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury broke down, and they then moved on quite quickly to Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Now, the thing is about Tyson Fury is he was geared up to fight AJ. John Fury even said that. Then, a few hours later, he was signing a contract to fight Deontay Wilder, and he done it on live TV. John Fury was quite unsettled about that as well. He said that that's not the way business is done. He feels like they've rushed into this because obviously they spent all of those months planning Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. 5 months to be exact. Eddie Hearn had done a lot of work trying to secure it. Then all of a sudden they had kind of jumped ship and now they are fighting Deontay Wilder. And it all happened within a week. So John Fury seems to be worried that they have done it too quickly and things are being rushed. He doesn't believe that Tyson Fury is going to get a fair shake out in America. He said that the Americans don't want the Saudis to have the fight. They don't want Undisputed to take place because it would go to Saudi Arabia and they want to keep big fights in America. Now, there could be some truth to that. I wouldn't say it's all Americans. I would say that maybe Bob Arum does want to keep it in the US. I mean, he was never positive about a Saudi Arabia deal. He was never positive at all about Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. So perhaps there is some situation there for him to kind of keep it on a US time zone, because remember, Tyson Fury will be fighting in the US, and that means it will be prime time television in the US, not the UK, whereas Undisputed would be catering to a UK time zone. So there's that, and John Fury also said that Tyson Fury should take some time away, come back to the UK, and think about things, get away from all the glitz and the glamour and all of the yes men around him, and actually have a think about this and reassess the situation, reset. And I think that that is very good advice because I do believe that Tyson Fury perhaps is getting caught up in all of that. I think that he's going into this Deontay Wilder fight with the wrong kind of mindset. I said it in a previous video, I'm worried that Tyson Fury is looking at this the wrong way. He's going into the Wilder fight, but he kind of wanted to fight AJ, or so we are led to believe. He said he did want it, and he was saying that the fight is very close to being officially announced. Then obviously the arbitration happened, but still, he's now fighting Deontay Wilder, but it's almost like he's too caught up in being a star, a celebrity, and that could be detrimental to his chances against Deontay Wilder, because if he underestimates him, then that's the last thing that he wants to do. I know that Wilder is not the best boxer in the world, but he does have dynamite in that right hand and he knows how to land it. So if Tyson Fury takes his foot off the gas for even a moment and doesn't stay switched on, then it could be over. That is the situation that he is currently dealing with. So in trying to build his profile with the Anthony Joshua situation and getting big numbers based off of that, I mean, there was a lot of attention for Tyson Fury during the negotiations for the AJ fight. And then going over to the Wilder fight, he's going to want to maintain that. That is why I believe Tyson Fury has reacted in the way he did, by going straight into the Wilder fight, signing on live television, being all excited about it, talking about what he's going to do. He's going to fight Wilder, then he's going to go and demolish Anthony Joshua. That is what he said on ESPN. So he has tried to keep all the eyes on him since this has fallen through, and we haven't seen that from Anthony Joshua. He's just gone back to training. He was displeased with what happened, and he did vent those displeasures on Twitter by talking about Tyson Fury and saying this and that, saying that Fury did not want the fight, and he had that, then he moved on. But you don't see AJ doing the same thing that Tyson Fury is doing, and it could be a cause for concern that he is getting caught up in being more of a celebrity than a boxer, and if he lets things slip, Wilder will capitalize on Tyson Fury taking him lightly. And I believe that that is what John Fury is worried about. That is why he would rather him come back to the UK and reassess. John Fury also said that it's disappointing for the Saudis who put all that work into trying to get the fight done. And actually offered up a good deal for Tyson Fury and AJ, only to see it fall at the wayside all of a sudden. And it's just the fact that they were told the arbitration would not be a problem. Time and time again, that has been said. But still, it was a problem in the end. And John Fury even alluded to what Eddie Hearn had said in his interview reacting to this situation. He said that it could have all been sorted in December. This could have been squashed in December, then they wouldn't have the problem with a third Wilder fight. And again, that was overlooked, so whether Tyson Fury always knew he was going to be fighting Wilder a third time, or whether he didn't, it seems like those behind the scenes did have an inclination that that would happen. But if you look at the promotion they will get if they talk about fighting AJ instead for 5 months while they are trying to sort the Wilder situation, because a contract was already ready to be signed after the ruling in the arbitration. Quite quick, isn't it? I mean, given how long it took for Undisputed to be even close to being announced. So that's a bit fishy as well. But anyway, if they do that, then they can have Tyson Fury's name brought up in the media all the time for 5 months, and then they can go straight into a Deontay Wilder fight and attempt to maintain that kind of media coverage. Because one big thing that stopped the fight from happening last year was they wouldn't do it without fans. They were not going to do this fight behind closed doors. Now, we are starting to see fans back in the arenas in America in big numbers. Now all of a sudden, they are ready to do the fight. So even though there was 5 months of negotiations for AJ versus Fury that fell at the wayside, they still couldn't have done Wilder Fury 3 because for a period of that time, there were no fans in the arenas in the UK and in America. I mean, I know they started coming back with Canelo, especially when he fought Anvi Yildirim, but still, they couldn't generate the numbers that they wanted until perhaps July or August, and maybe that is what they were waiting for. Now, John Fury also said that he didn't want Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder for a third time. He wanted him to fight Anthony Joshua. That is the fight. That is the one they have been gearing themselves up for. And he said he even spoke to Tyson Fury on the phone, and he told him to chuck the belt in the bin, give them the belt, then come and fight AJ. So don't bother about trying to keep that title. If that's what they want, give it to them, and go and fight Anthony Joshua. Now, I believe the situation with Deontay Wilder and Fury is that Wilder has to have a rematch with Fury, so in the second fight they both had an agreement that there would be a third one. So say Tyson Fury lost, he would have the opportunity to activate a rematch clause even though he wasn't champion. So there was always planned to be a third fight, no matter who the winner was of the second one. So if you think about it like that, then the WBC belt doesn't really come into it when you think about a rematch, because obviously Fury was not WBC champion going into the second fight, and had he lost, he still wouldn't be WBC champion. But Deontay Wilder, if he's offered a certain amount of money, 2 step aside and a world title, he's going to take it, right? I mean, he's not exactly going to say, no, I want to win it back off of Tyson Fury. I mean, he might, and if he did, then that's pretty cool from Deontay Wilder, but I don't see it. I don't see Wilder saying, no, I want to fight Fury for the title. I see him going, okay, I'll take a vacant title shot, and that would likely be against Dillian Whyte, who is WBC interim world champion. If he's given step-aside money as well, more money than he will earn in a third fight with Tyson Fury. That is even what John Fury said as well. He would likely earn more from the step-aside than he would by fighting Tyson Fury, and he'd still have a vacant world title opportunity against potentially Dillian Whyte. So that would be a very good package put together for Deontay Wilder, and he would be inclined to accept it. But there was no attempt to even try and get Deontay Wilder to step aside. There was no attempt to save Undisputed. And regardless of everything else, if that doesn't make you believe that maybe someone behind the scenes didn't want it or knew that the arbitration would be a problem, regardless of that, the fact that they did not try to save Undisputed, does that not tell you something as well? Because I believe that Wilder would be all ears to some offer. Maybe there was an offer of 20 million that he turned down, apparently. I mean, that we don't know, that's not confirmed. But I believe that Wilder would be interested in taking some step-aside money and still have a guarantee of an opportunity to fight the winner, especially given that he could earn possibly more by stepping aside and waiting, still guaranteed an opportunity, but he has to wait. And he could earn more by doing that than in a fight with Tyson Fury, a risky fight as well. Then he could potentially have a fight in between with his new team, and that would put him in good stead going into a rematch with Tyson Fury or going into a fight with Anthony Joshua. But clearly no such thing was even attempted. Tyson Fury Bob Arum said continuously, they're not paying him, they would rather beat him in the ring. So again, it just makes me wonder about their intentions for Undisputed in the first place. Now, I know that these comments might seem harsh from John Fury, especially considering they are directed at his son, but I don't believe that they come from that place, not a place of jealousy. There's none of that. What it is he wants the best for Tyson Fury. We've seen that throughout Tyson Fury's career. And if you listen to what he is saying, when he says about Tyson Fury having yes men around him, so therefore he needs to come back to the UK, reassess and reevaluate the situation, that is good advice. That's all he's doing, is giving his son good advice. And I have to say, I agree with him. With the Wilder situation, he could become complacent in looking to build his profile and looking at the fame side of it. With the yes men around him, then he could take his eye off the ball, because Wilder is in a situation now where he's not going to care about all of that. All he's going to care about is beating Tyson Fury. He doesn't care no more about building his profile. It's about winning the fight. Whereas if you look at it from Tyson Fury's side, he's still trying to build his profile, trying to maintain what he had in the negotiations for the AJ fight when it comes to the media, and that could be a problem. That could be his downfall if he takes his eye off the ball in the build-up to this fight, thinking it's just going to be easy, and he can beat him as easy as he did last time around. Well, the only reason he beat him that well is because he put the work in, and he left no stone unturned. And even though it seemed that easy, it doesn't alter the fact that boxing is still a sport of fine margins. Now, Anthony Joshua said he'd like to sit down with John Fury, and obviously he agrees with some of the comments made during that interview. I mean, let's be real, John Fury is only saying this because he wants the best for Tyson Fury, and so he's speaking the truth. So there you have it, that's the truth. The arbitration, the belt situation, the Wilder situation, you can see that it was poorly handled, especially by those behind the scenes of Team Fury, when it could have been sorted in December, when they could try and find a way to still save Undisputed. That did not happen. And John Fury even said, Tyson keeps going on about how belts don't mean anything to him, so therefore if that's not a problem, give them the belt and go and fight AJ like it was planned on August 14th. But I have to agree with Eddie Hearn, something about this, it just stinks. And given what John Fury has now said, that kind of proves that there is something wrong. There was always something wrong behind the scenes. And I do believe that there was someone at least someone behind the scenes at Tyson Fury's camp, and they knew that they were going to be fighting Deontay Wilder and not AJ, because the situation could have been resolved multiple times, but it wasn't. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.